Did you know 93% of consumers read online reviews before choosing who to work with? That's what we're talking about today. Reviews, how important they are, how to get them. Basically, reviews are your silent sales team. They're your silent assassin working behind the scenes. There's a lot of people out there that don't get reviews at all. They don't have a site to even get the reviews. So if that speaks to you, you're going to want to hang around and listen to this episode. This is the Secret Sauce Podcast with Chad Treese and Lacey Moores, where we want to help people build big businesses and live big lives. And we think that there's not a magic bullet for doing that, but there is a secret sauce. So a lot of these are going to be just the ingredients that can help you make up a secret sauce to build a big business and live a big life. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Secret Sauce Podcast. I'm Chad Treese, here with Lacey Moores. Super excited about this topic because I think this is going to hit home for a lot of people. A ton of agents I talk to, lenders included, they do not have a system for getting reviews. They probably know how important they are. If you don't know how important they are, then wake up. Yep. Right, for sure. But you've got to have a system for getting reviews. So today we're going to talk about a bulletproof system, how to create a bulletproof system for how to get reviews without seeming pushy consistently. That's the ticket. And there is a pretty easy step-by-step systems. There's a few different ways to how to do them. Just for a reference, we've got our Google page. That's where we push pretty much everybody. Just so you understand that I'm a little bit of a subject matter on this, is that we have, at the time of filming this, 309 Google reviews, rated 5.0 on Google. And we have people tell us all the time, we found you on Google searching. So it is super, super important. And let's talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So
wait a second. Well, let me ask something about that.
Okay.
That was really big. So you have people reach out all the time directly to you that have found you first.
Yeah. Just in a Google search.
Your Google search. And if you really stop real fast and think about this, there are projections of where our industry could be going.
Right.
And we don't know if any of this is true or not, but that people will be finding their lenders, then realtors first online before they contact anybody.
Finding the lender before the realtor.
Could be, potentially, but they're going to go online first.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a huge shift as, generation, like just the different generations, and people get younger and younger, people who've grown up with an iPhone in their hand, right?
Right.
That just their automatic default setting now is just everything to check online.
Yeah.
There's going to be tools for AI to be doing all that for people. Like the direction we're headed is certainly tech driven.
Yeah.
And
so huge what you're going to cover here today. Like that, I just wanted to stop because it is so. Like if we just said wake up if you're not, but even if you're doing them at a small level, like this is such an important thing for our future.
Yeah, a lot of people I think have I would say there's two camps. There's multiple camps, but who we're talking to today is probably people that have not even set up their own Google review page or review pages, different profiles. There's different places you can do it. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But so there's people in that camp. And then there's people that, yes, they've set it up, but they have no system for it. They have no process for it. If people kind of stumble onto it and leave them a review, they feel great. Cool. Yeah. But they just have not systematized it. So I want to talk about a bulletproof system that people can implement today, come away from this, implement, and have something that can actually be working for them behind the scenes. Like we said, that silent sales assassin.
So good. Let's do it.
All right. So got a few stats, started off the episode with a stat, but I think the why is important.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about it, but just to drive that point home even more, obviously people start there, or if they don't start there, chances are they're going to go there. They're going to look you up. Even if they get a personal referral to you, they're then going to go Google you and check out what your reviews look like, right? So it is your reputation matters. It's a huge thing. So we said 93% of customers read online reviews before making a decision. 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. I think that one's huge.
That's big.
88, yeah. So it's almost equivalent to somebody you trust telling you, hey, you've got to talk to Lacey, right? Them going, and maybe they don't get a personal recommendation, but they go and search online, they're going to trust those online reviews. 88% of people trust them just as much.
Wow. That
one like shook me a little bit.
Yep.
90% of buyers are more likely to convert after reading positive reviews. 68% of consumers form an opinion after reading between 1 and 6 online reviews. So now specific to the real estate industry, 78% of home buyers and sellers consider Google reviews essential when selecting a real estate agent. Not just they think it's kind of important, they consider it essential.
Yeah.
We could go on and on. I think we get the point,
Yep.
right? So definitely major importance in that. The other reasons is because of just search engine optimization.
Right.
So the more Google reviews that you have, that's where most people go. Just quite frank, Bing is not taken off like people thought maybe it would, right? Most people are searching on Google. So having that Google profile is paramount. And it also will put you at the top of that list. So when people are searching for best realtors in Overland Park, Kansas, not just having the most reviews, but having current, constantly updating reviews is constantly like refreshing that. So you've got to have a system in place that every time you close somebody or have a great conversation with somebody, they're going and leaving you a review because it's
bumps up your SEO too, right? That's what you're explaining.
Yep. That's a SEO, search engine optimization piece of it. Yep. So it keeps like updating and refreshing that.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many great reasons too, but I think that just in and of itself is enough. People are making their decisions based off of that. So I think we need to talk a little bit about where. Yeah. I think we know the why for the most part, right? But where should people be setting up their review profiles? I'm going to start. There's like 20 that you could choose from. It's going to be overkill, right? And I don't want to beat a dead horse here. So let's just start with the top 3 that I would recommend, and maybe a 4th bonus one. Okay. But this is specific to realtors and lenders. Yep. Got to start with Google.
Sure.
I would fight anybody, or fist fight anybody who disagrees with me. Okay. No, but you absolutely need to start there. I think a lot of realtors may say, what about Zillow? Look, Zillow is trying to take your job.
Sure.
So let's not feed that animal too much.
Yep.
It is the enemy.
Yep.
And we just need to just call a spade on that. I'm not saying don't set up a Zillow profile, but do it after your Google and try to get people to leave your reviews on Google first.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. I really do.
Yep. So you got to set up a Google profile. Then I would say Zillow. Number 2, maybe interchangeable with Facebook. I know there's a whole generation that's like Facebook's for old people. We're old people. But Instagram doesn't have a review setting to it. Right. And so Facebook does. So of those, I would go in that order. And then the bonus one is maybe realtor.com for the realtors out there. But don't even go to that until you've started with at least Google and Zillow.
We've realized it's a huge miss. Like we just assume all these people have it, and it's mind-blowing that they don't.
Right.
And I think you are right. It's just that first step of getting it up and going and having somebody who knows what they're doing just take over it and get it all going and set up the process. I'd pay for it. Like, you and I talked a lot about our skill sets, and marketing isn't our skill set, and that's okay. But getting help to do it, and this is huge. Everybody needs to be making sure they're doing this.
Right. Yeah. If there's one thing that you take away from this podcast and do is go set that up, because you can't do really much anything else that we talk about as far as getting people to leave you the reviews, follow-ups, and setting automations and all of those things until you have this set up. So start there. I think there's something I want to talk about here too. There's a little bit of a miss that I've talked to quite a few agents that are on teams, right? And they just say, well, my team has a site, right? And so we just push all of our clients there. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, until you decide that you want to create your own team or you want to go out on your own, right? And we're team leaders. You and I understand this. And there's definitely an appeal that it's easy. Let's just use the team one. But you have to be thinking long-term down the road. What if? Because if you do leave, there is no way, even if that team leader wants to give you those reviews, it doesn't happen. Google's not going to just pair them out and say, okay, here you go, like shift these reviews over to this new profile.
Yep.
So be forward thinking a little bit, set one up for yourself, and you can still send people to the team if you're brand new maybe or don't have a whole lot of reviews. I think that's a reason why people would do that.
A lot of value, yeah.
Right? So you can use both sides of this. So
Yes.
still use the reputation. So perfect example, right? We talked about my team. As we're recording this, we have 309 Google reviews. So why wouldn't Brian, who's new on the team, right, who doesn't have a lot of Google reviews, if any, why wouldn't he want to tap into using our reputation, right? So that's still where he would want to maybe send people to show our online reputation for our team. But then when it comes time to collect a review, he needs to have his own review site set up and start building his own online reputation because they are separate, right? It is a personal thing. It's your personal brand.
Yeah.
So don't make the mistake of just utilizing the team one because it will come back to bite you.
Yeah. Well, and even we did this a few years ago. I don't even know how long ago, but when our company did a big push on everybody to go back and get past clients. So even if you haven't done this over the years, like you can get this set up and then you can go out and reach past clients and ask them, hey, would you do me a favor? You know, I helped you in the past. I didn't have this set up. Would you give me a review?
Totally.
And you get a ton. Like we had a competition on it and we went out and got as many as we could because, I mean, and that, how many years ago was that? Man, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right.
And even then, you know, so fast forward now the importance of it. So even if you haven't done this step yet, you're not too far behind and you can catch up quickly.
Well, yeah, and another way to do that, if you really want to make it simple for people, right, which is the key when it comes to asking for reviews, people are busy, they're living their own lives, they're the star of their own movie, right, is they make things super, you have to make things super, super easy for people. So if they've given you a review on a team page and now you're creating your own personal, go and copy and paste it, right, find that review that they left on the team page, copy it, paste it, reach out to them and have a conversation. Let them know, hey, I'm setting this up. Here's why. Like I do need to build my own brand as well. I'm still with the team, whatever. And just ask, say, would you be open to it? I will text you over the link and the actual exact review that you left. So you make it super simple. All you have to do is select all, copy, paste, and it would mean the world to me, right? And when you ask people in that way, they're going to do it for you, but just make it super, super easy. Just streamline it for people.
Yep.
But I think that there's another reason why people don't do it is they're like, well, if I set it up, I have no reviews, right? Or I'm brand new. I don't even have a sale yet of people to ask. So why would I set up online reviews? That's a great question, but you still should. And you can get character reviews. Okay. So character reviews would be reach out to the people that do know you, like you, trust you, maybe not as a realtor or a lender yet because you're brand new, but they understand your character, right? They believe in you. They would use you when the time comes. Reach out to those people and say, hey, just like a reference, basically. Like, would you leave me a review? You don't have to say that you've worked with me. I don't want you to lie, but will you speak to my character?
Yeah.
Right? And you can start building some reviews before you even have actual sales.
That's a great tip.
Where do we want to go from here? So I think we're still talking about where, right? So Google, Zillow, and Facebook. I think really we should just transition into like now how to go about doing it. So you've set up the account. You're starting to reach out to people. And we always look for reasons to reach out to people that could add some value. This isn't going to be a major value add to them, but actually, I'm going to take that back. It is. And I think this is a huge miss in our industries, and I'm super guilty of it. I'm sure you are too, is we always think about we're going to be a bother to people when we ask for something, right? If I'm asking for this review, if I reach out and I ask that, like, they're going to think something of me. They're going to think negatively of me. And the fact of the matter is there's a massive amount of people out there. I would say your average human really likes doing good things for people. And you're giving people an opportunity to give a gift, right? And studies show that people actually enjoy giving gifts more than they like receiving them. So what you're doing is you're just giving people an opportunity to give a gift, and they feel better. It strokes their ego a little bit to be able to help you out with your business. So don't look at it as you're a burden to them. Look at it like you're giving them an opportunity to feel really good and fill their cup up a little bit.
That's good.
You got to rewire your brain
Yeah.
a little bit. But reach out to everybody, and now you're talking to them. Maybe I'm glad you called, right? My cousin was just talking about buying a house. Like, we've got to be talking to people. So this is a perfect opportunity. You've now created the page, and now you've got a great reason to reach out to everybody that you know to let them know that you just set it up, and if they would do you that favor and how much it would mean.
It's good.
Let's talk about systems for a little bit, because everybody's going to have their own system, and there's not one exact right way to do this. There's automations, right? There's things within your CRM. You can set it up where it does it for you. You can have somebody on the team do it. If you're a one-man show, you can do it, but it does have to be systematized and process-based, right? Or it's not going to happen. We just know we're going to get busy. So do you mind talking a little bit about what your process looks like?
Yeah, sure. So we have, whenever we close a loan, we automatically have the survey sent out. And that's through our company that the survey is done, right? So they go in and fill out the survey. But then once the survey is done, we have a set up process where then we ask at that point, hey, thank you for filling out this one. Would you mind doing one for us on Google? And we do the same kind of thing that you said about helping copy and paste, so that we can move that piece over to Google, because our software that does it for out of our database doesn't push it over to Google. So we make sure we get that. I think ours is through experience.com is who our company uses for those.
Right.
But the Google piece is, the most important.
Well, that's the thing, is Google will push to Experience. If you have them do the review just through experience.com, it doesn't push to Google. So it's not bi-directional. So I always tell people, if you do have a review aggregation site, experience.com is one that's going to pull in all of your reviews. Because if you go to experience.com, we have over 500 reviews instead of the 309 with Google, because it's Facebook and Zillow, and it aggregates all of them together. But if they just leave one review on experience.com, it's just considered like a native experience.com review that you'll never see on Google. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that you go the right direction with this. And so push them to Google, which will show up because you have it linked to experience.com. It will pull in all of those reviews.
Okay. So we don't need to send them the Experience. We just need to send them directly to Google.
So you're learning something too on this one. Yes. Send them to Google.
So we send them to Experience and then ask them to go to Google. So we can make it easier.
Send them to Google, and it will automatically, this is only for people that have a review aggregation site like that, that the company may provide or whatever. There's multiple ones out there. Trustpilot, I think, maybe is another one. There's a few, but experience.com is a big player in that. Yeah. But it pulls in the reviews from all the different sites and shows you the total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. What's yours? How is that? I mean, that's pretty basically what yours is, but what else do you guys do?
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely have a system for asking after closing.
Yep.
That's part of our system. And like a text automatically goes out. Right. But I think that there's a little bit more to it. I think if we're really making this kind of system based, if you want to break it down, would be start to create a process by which you tell people up front.
Oh yeah.
And I know you do this.
Yeah.
So it's like this, I'm not shunning you or anything. Yep. I know you do it. You just didn't say it. But letting people know on the front end, look, our goal here is to make sure that you have a raving fan 5-star experience. Yes. If we're ever not doing that, please let me know.
Yep.
I'm going to check in with you throughout as we go through here, but I want to make sure at the end of this that you feel like we knocked it out of the park for you so much that you're like jumping at the chance to fill out a Google review for us.
Yeah.
And is that fair? Right. And ask them that question, get their buy-in on it. And of course they're going to say, yes,
absolutely.
I would love to be treated in a way that you would treat me so well that I'm chomping at the bit to go complete a review for you. That's a high bar to set, but so you need to make sure that, you have systems in place to deliver that amazing experience. That's another podcast, right? But as long as you have that in place and you are knocking it out of the park consistently, setting it up that way at the end, whether it's at the closing table, that might be like, this system is yours to come up with. But if you want to steal it, then you have that conversation at the closing table.
Yep.
After everything's done and we're celebrating, that you ask them then, hey, while you're thinking about it before you go and like start moving boxes to the new house and all of those things, because you're going to get really busy, would you just, as you jump in the car, before you head home, would you just fill out a real quick review for us? So while it's top of mind, right? And then you can recall back to that. I mentioned this at the front end. Did you have that type of, like, what would you rate that experience for this whole thing? Typically at the closing table, people are singing your praises. Right. And that's the best time. Scientifically, the best time is at peaked emotions, right? Okay. Whenever their emotions are peaking in a good way, ideally you don't want to ask for that review when their emotions are peaked and they're pissed off and stressed out. But when you solve a problem for them, or they're celebrating something, they're thanking you for something, like sincerely, not just, okay, cool, thanks for the call. That's not probably an amazing opportunity, but, oh, thank you so much. I didn't think of that. Right. And then you can say, oh, well, remember, like that, I told you that's part of what we do. And that's, just part of us building towards that, you chomping at the bit to give us that 5-star review. If you're feeling that way now, feel free to go. Like, we'd love it if you would go do it. And if we, at the end, hadn't earned it, you can always go and edit that review. Right.
No, I think I'm going to pause you there for a second because I'm learning as well. And I think, my thought process was, I don't want to bother them at closing. I'll ask them later. But you are right. It doesn't take very long. And when they're there and the emotions are high and we are at that peak, it's so much smarter. Like, I got to get past the, am I bothering them, to do it then instead of waiting till later. So I'm going to change that up. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So if you decide to do it at closing, I've got an even better, and this is something we're going to, like, as I was researching this, I'm learning too. Yeah. And we're going to implement something. Neri, take some notes over there. I'm going to create a little postcard at closing that has a QR code that they can just right there scan. We don't have to like pull up the actual page or anything. It will just take them right to it and they can click 5 stars, right? That you can send them home with, or you have like even have them do it right there. Like, I always get, my analogy to that would be like when you're at the restaurant and somebody hands you now they hand you the little computer to like pay your bill, and they just stand there while they're waiting for you to hit the tip button and they're like watching you. Yeah. So I don't know, like, my takeaway would be give them that and tell them, like, yes, well, it's top of mind. I would love it if, jump in your car, if you'd scan that and do it. So you're not sitting there staring at them like, will you fill out this review and watching like, was that 4 stars?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you definitely give a tip if they're standing there. Yeah,
but there's an awkwardness to it. I don't want anything in this to make people feel awkward. I want them to, like I said, I truly do want them to be chomping at the bit. And when they're excited, when they're happy, they will do it. But you do have to ask. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is people just expect, if you take care of people at a high level, they're just going to go and do it. They may be chomping at the bit to do it, but they don't even know where to go. You haven't told them Google's your preferred one. You haven't given them that link.
Yeah, or any of it. Yeah, totally agree.
So another good piece would be have it in your email signature, like a little blurb. I think you do. Mm-hmm. I know we do, but a little blurb about how important reviews are to help other people find you. And if you're having a great experience, like, here's the link, and have that, because you're going to be communicating with them a bunch via email throughout the whole process. So it's just continuing to rewire their brain a little bit. It's just dripping on them consistently throughout, giving them that opportunity. But then looking for those opportunities throughout where you can knock their socks off and maybe, if they're really singing your praises, that's the better time to do it, probably even than closing. Even if you're not at the closing table yet, but they're like, you just solved a major problem for them and they're blown away. Mm-hmm. Perfect time. Like, look for those peaks throughout the transaction.
Milestones. Yep.
Yeah. Where they're really, really happy. That's the time to do it. And then like having a actual follow-up system after the fact, because you want to make sure people do get busy, right? And so hopefully this is going to solve most of the problems. Well, we don't bug people a ton, and we get a huge amount of reviews. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think it's because we set it up the right way at the front end. So we're not doing a ton of following up, but you can set up automations through your CRM where, a week later, if they haven't gotten a review, that it sends them an email if you texted them the first time, or vice versa. Right. We don't do a lot of this right now. I know that we could be missing the boat a little bit there, but I think that if you do it right, set up the system right on the front end, that people will have already gone and left you the review. The people who are likely to do it, you're going to catch with that first net. Right. But going back through, if you want to create a follow-up system on it, you're going to want to reply. There is definitely science behind this as well. All the data supports that people trust the most They trust the companies that are replying to every review, right? So don't make the mistake of setting up the page, getting the reviews, and then just
Never do
letting them
anything.
sit there. You want to go reply to every single one. So having a follow-up system where once a week, you just go in, you check who's left your review, and you go and reply to every single one, make it personal, try not to leave the exact same reply on every
Right.
one because it looks like a computer's doing it for you.
Yep.
But when you set that up, then it becomes very easy to then look to say, oh, these people said they would, but they didn't.
Right.
Right. And
You
then
follow up.
you can follow up. So if you have the right checks and balances in place, and so I would set that as a follow-up to check to see who you need to reply to. And then you're also checking at the same time who closed in the last week since you looked at it. So every Monday maybe, or every Wednesday, whatever it is, but it's on your calendar, it's review time.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going and replying to those reviews and then following up with the people that didn't.
Yeah, so just make sure you are, so my brain's going to a 15-minute maybe, or 30-minute time block that you're going to put in on the same exact date every week, that you come and just
totally.
put
Recurring
it in there.
appointment on your calendar.
Yep.
That it's review time.
Yep, review time. I like it.
Anything else that you do in your process?
You know, you said milestones. That's, I think we're really good about milestones is when we have really, you know, this review thing is also parallel with what I call like CCR, so current client referrals. You know, at that moment, when we're at those highs, we will ask sometimes, do you know anybody else who's looking to buy? But we only ask those when we are at those high, you know, those peaks and stuff. So my thought process is we need to merge those two together, so we can be taking care of both. So this is very good. Like it's very good to sometimes stop and look at what you are currently doing if you do have a system and how can you tweak it and get it better.
Yeah, there's always ways to make it better. That's what I learned going
Yeah.
like getting ready for this podcast. It's like, oh man, we're falling short in a couple categories. We're doing a ton,
Yeah.
but there's things that we could improve
Better.
on.
And sometimes they're super easy, you know?
They are.
Once
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
think about it. So
Yeah, totally. Getting it set up is first and foremost though. So like get it going, get that process in place, and you can always refine it.
yep.
I think the other thing with reviews, as you start to get them, another great opportunity to have a conversation with them, right? Like you want to reward good behavior, right? It's Pavlov's dog situation.
Yep.
Like you want to reward every single time somebody does what you wanted them to do. It's like you set an expectation, now they've met it, and you want to reward that. So if they do, yes, replying to the review is great, but actually picking up the phone,
Yeah.
you know, and saying, oh my God, your review blew me away. Like, I know I knew you were going to give a review based on what you said, but
Thank you.
when you
Yeah.
said this, it really hit me. Like, take a second. Don't miss that opportunity to reconnect
Yeah.
with that person and make it personal.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure they understand how much it sincerely does mean the world to you, because you don't need to be cold calling, selling to strangers and stuff. If you just take care of the people that you've already taken care of, you take care of them at such a high level, and do it
beautiful
really well,
business.
they're going to become your selling machine for you behind the scenes. So it's just another reason to reach out to people and let them know how much you appreciate them.
And that's how you create a beautiful business.
It is. And it's
That
the most
you
fulfilling
enjoy.
business too,
Yep.
right? It's because there's real connections with people.
Yep.
It's not a computer who's replying to this review
Absolutely.
and it's like, hey, thanks so much. We loved working with you. But, you know, I always try to tie it back to, you'll see if you read my replies to our reviews, there's always a theme there that's like, we feel so honored to have played a small role in the story that is like your family story in this next chapter of your family story. And I always look at things as like we are a very small supporting role in the story of our family's lives. And paint the picture that way. And that's what I truly believe. And I like, it becomes very intentional and fulfilling for me to frame it that way. But I think that it also hits home more with the clients that way as well.
It's good.
So I think we can just about wrap this thing up. But the other thing to do with reviews is now you have great social media material. We have, whenever we meet with clients, we always meet with them face to face right here in this space, actually. And on that monitor right there, if you're watching this, the monitor over Lacey's head, we have, when people come in, that is just cycling through reviews and pictures of smiling faces at the closing table.
Perfect.
And so people are sitting here and just through like power of osmosis, like glancing up and seeing these rave reviews that people have left, and they're just cycling through like 10 seconds at a time. So there's great ways to repurpose these reviews that you get. They're gold, right?
Yeah.
So use them that way. Use them for social media posts. Use them and create a testimonial packet, like your welcome packet for people, your buyer consultation, your listing consultation. There's so many different amazing ways once you start getting reviews that you can put them together as collateral that can just help continue to sell your business when you're not there.
And your brand. Yep.
But you've got to start by getting the reviews. So definitely got to start.
I love it. I think this is just a really, really helpful, we all know it, but people don't stop to just get it done.
Right.
So we need a call to action here, right? Because people, if you are not doing this, or if you're not doing it at the highest level, like let's just book a time on our calendar to stop and to work on it and get it going.
Definitely. So my call to action on this would be, if you heard anything here that spoke to you, take action on one thing. Pick one thing to take action on and go and do it. If you already have the Google page set up, then now take action on reaching out to your database to ask for them. If you don't have it set up, that needs to be your action. Go leave this podcast episode and go set it up or put it on your calendar. Make sure it gets done in the next week.
Love it. Love it.
Guys, thank you so much. This has been an honor. I appreciate it. If this was helpful for you, please share it.
Yes.
Give us a like, subscribe.
Leave us a review.
Oh man, leave us we need us. There we go. We don't have a review for the Secret Sauce podcast. We don't have a Google page. We should probably get one.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
This week.
By the time this episode drops, hopefully it's there. If you guys would give us a review on any of the podcast episodes, all the podcast services have a way to do that. Apple Podcasts, where most people listen to us, and you can absolutely review our podcast. So we would love it if you would do that. It would mean the world to us. See you next time, guys.
Thanks, guys.